Welcome to Injustice Media. I'm your host, Gucci J. Today, we're looking at the case of Jemma Beale. Bella, is it Bella? I think that's how you pronounce it. Bella, falsely accused 9 men of rape. Let's look into this one.
Lesbian fantasist invented 15 rapes and sexual assaults, which saw man jailed to get sympathy from girlfriends caught here.
15 rapes and 11 assaults. Whoo! Lesbian. They're at it as well.
Years. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lesbian? Really? I would never have guessed that. What with the dyed hair, facial piercing?
I wouldn't either. Like, that's mad. I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years.
And obesity. I thought she was a page 3 girl. Oh, that's right. They don't have those anymore, do they? A fantasist who invented rape and sexual assault allegations against 15 men to get attention.
Fantasist who invented rape and sexual assault allegations against 15 men. 15. I thought it was 9. Has been jailed for 10 years. Claims she had been raped by 9 men and sexually assaulted by 6. Okay, so she claimed that she was raped by 9 men and sexually assaulted by 6. That's what makes it 16. Nuts.
From her girlfriend has been jailed for 10 years. Jemma Beale, 25, claimed she'd been raped by 9 men and seriously sexually assaulted by 6 in 4 different encounters over the space of 3 years, causing one man to be wrongly jailed. A judge warned that her grotesque string of lies would increase the likelihood of guilty men going free and prevent real victims from reporting such crimes. Beale's first victim, Mahad Qasim, served 2 years and 9 months in jail, while she received £11,000 in
£11,000 in compensation for putting an innocent man in jail.
Criminal injuries compensation following the alleged rape. The court heard that she went on to make a string of false allegations that took...
That's mad. Let's go back to that. You need to realize the levels. You get me? The levels.
Lies would increase the likelihood of guilty men going free and prevent real victims from reporting such crimes. Beale's first victim, Mahad Qasim, served 2 years and 9 months in jail, while she received £11,000 in criminal injuries compensation following the alleged rape. The court heard that she went on to make a string of false allegations that took up 6,400 hours of police time and cost at least £250,000. Most lies began impulsively following drunken rows with girlfriends as she sought attention and to arouse jealousy. Judge Nicholas Lorraine Smith, sitting at London's Southwark Crown Court, told Beale she was a very, very convincing liar and enjoyed being seen as a victim. Well, that's...
What do you mean she's a very, very convincing liar? Your job is to catch people what lie, you know what I mean? What make false allegations, yeah, and convict them, perverting the course of justice, you know what I mean? It should be like 10 years minimum starting with allegations, man. It's mad. Should 10 years, you get me, that will put off people from lying. This girl accused 15 different men of rape and sexual assault and was given £11,000 victim compensation. And you say she's very convincing. Are you guys dumb or something?
That sounds like a typical social justice warrior. He added, "What is particularly chilling is the manner in which you persisted in making allegations which you knew were untrue, even to the extent of committing and repeating perjury." These false allegations of rape, false allegations which will inevitably be widely publicised, are likely to have the perverse impact of increasing the likelihood of guilty men going free. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, each case should be tried on its merits. Beale's case should.
That's what I'm saying. Each case should be tried on its merits. Every case is different. No case is the same. Madness.
Didn't have any bearing on other cases. So in one case, Beale claimed she'd been groped in a pub by a man, and then that same man took part in a gang rape of her in a nearby car park. She actually cut herself with a hanging.
She was gang raped in a car park. Have you seen the size of this woman? She's size. Madness.
Flower basket to make it look like she'd been attacked with barbed wire. In fact, so in one case, Beale claimed she'd been groped in a pub by a man, and then that same man took part in a gang rape of her in a nearby car park. She actually cut herself with a hanging flower basket to make it look like she'd been attacked with barbed wire. In fact, CCTV footage showed she actually attacked the man in the pub and then walked home alone.
You see what I mean? CCTV evidence shows that you attacked the man in the pub, yeah, and walked home. You know what I mean? CCTV shows you attacked him, about you got attacked and gang raped in the forest. What the hell? And the police believe this nonsense, you know. Trust me, a lot of people in jail, a lot of people what read the news would be like, oh, my man's this, my man's that, he's a rapist, he's a monster, You got women like this lying and getting away with it. And no one's got no energy for them. No one's speaking up. No one's saying nothing. It's an injustice. Sick.
So clearly this woman is a narcissistic piece of human.
Yeah, this woman got dragged in the park and raped. Yeah. From a pub with loads of witnesses there. Come on, man.
And garbage, and I suspect it's gotten a fair amount of coverage because of the unusual extent of her lies. But a couple of news outlets want us to believe that false allegations themselves are rare. So this article was written by Glosswitch, and I have to say,
false allegations are rare. They're not rare. A lot of people lie. A lot of people in jail for conspiracy, for murder, for rape, for assault, for robbery, and I haven't even done it. You know what I mean? So saying it's rare must be mad. Maybe mad.
Say I don't blame her for not putting her real name on it. And yes, I did assume her gender. Here's a selection of other articles by Glosswitch. Notice the Ched Evans article. So clearly she has a problem with men being exonerated of crimes they didn't commit. So Glosswitch says of descriptions of Beale as attention-seeking and a serial liar. It's hard not to detect the sense of relief that accompanies the sharing of reports on Beale's crime. See, the sharers seem to be saying, we told you women lied about this stuff. As the comedian Reginald Hunter tweeted yesterday, for people who question why we question, here you go. It seems that Glosswitch has a problem with facts. Beale is a serial liar and her motives were to seek attention. And the reason why some people might feel the need to remind you that some women lie about rape is because people like you tell us that we must always listen and believe. And it appears for some time that's exactly what the police did with.
Should always listen and believe. No. Use common sense. Look for inconsistencies. That's what you should do.
With Beale, one poor sod spending almost 3 years in jail from her false allegations. Now, back at the beginning of the article, Glosswitch claims false allegations are rare and links to an article by Labor MP Keir Starmer about a special report from the CPS about false allegations of rape and domestic violence. Likewise, this guy.
They are rare. They're only rare because you don't want to believe the truth. You just want to convict people. That's what the CPS do. They don't care about the truth. Just care about, can we convict this person of this offence? Have we got enough evidence to put in front of a jury? Even if you don't, or let's just put it in front of the jury anyway. Unless there's compelling evidence to show that it didn't take place, like that video of her walking home after she said she was raped. People are sick, man.
Guardian article refers to that same report. It's also worth noting the startling title that suggests that Beale was somehow a victim because of a flawed system, which we find out is because she was sentenced to 10 years in prison, whereas a convicted rapist typically only gets 8 years. But that's a single rapist for a single crime. Beale accused 9 men of...
You're mad. You're lucky she didn't get life. Someone convicted of rape gets minimum 9. I don't know how people get less than 9, but minimum 9 up to life. You know what I mean? She made 15 false allegations. 15 and only got 10 years. Madness.
Of rape and 6 of sexual assault, one of which spent almost 3 years of his life in prison. So 10 years, well, that's hard to feel sympathy for her. Anyway, back to this report that demonstrates false allegations are rare. It says over a 17-month period in 2011-2012, there were 5,651 prosecutions for rape, but only 35 prosecutions for making false rape allegations. But wait a minute, isn't the...
What I'm saying, it's madness. Madness. Listen to this again. Some important facts.
Title that suggests that Beale was somehow a victim because of a flawed system, which we find out is because she was sentenced to 10 years in prison, whereas a convicted rapist typically only gets 8 years. But that's a single rapist for a single crime. Beale accused 9 men of rape and 6 of sexual assault, one of which spent almost 3 years of his life in prison. So 10 years, well, that's hard to feel sympathy for her. Anyway, back to this report that demonstrates false allegations are rare. It says over a 17-month period in 2011-2012, there were 5,000...
The Crown Court Prosecution Service under Keir Starmer published a report on false allegations of rape, explaining a 17-month period in 2011 and 2012. In that time, there had been 35 prosecutions for false allegations against 5,651 prosecutions for rape. The rather convict a lot of innocent men, and that's in 1 year, you know, that's in like 2011 and 12, way back. That's like 1 year. I don't believe all that 5,650 men are guilty. No way. And obviously the 35 is just like compelling stuff, you know what I mean? Like CCTV evidence showing you went there, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Mad.
1,651 prosecutions for rape, but only 35 prosecutions for making false rape allegations. But wait a minute, isn't the claim false rape allegations are rare, not prosecutions? I understand why prosecutions are rare, because police generally don't go after them. When discussing rates of rape and sexual assault, activists continually chide us to ignore the prosecution rate because so many supposedly guilty men go free. Isn't that why they come up with these bogus surveys at universities with massively inflated definitions of sexual assault to tell us the real number? But now, when it suits you, you want to talk about convictions when it comes to false allegations. So if you go to the actual report, you'll find there were charges of false allegations of rape and sexual assault brought against 121 suspects. Still, that doesn't...
Madness.
Doesn't sound like a lot, but again, that's charges brought. It's hardly an accurate picture of false allegations in their entirety. How hard do police try to prove there were false allegations? Police have better things to do with their time than follow up every alleged sexual assault or rape for which there's not sufficient evidence to proceed with charges just to see whether the accuser was lying. It's only when in the course of an investigation they find obviously conflicting evidence, that they bother with charging someone with false reports. Not only that, there is special guidance set out for police when pursuing charges of perverting the course of justice and wasting police time in cases of allegations of rape and sexual assault. In a section called Core Considerations, they remind prosecutors to not resort to myths and stereotypes such as victims invite offences because of the way they dress, act, or because they may be drunk, or that we shouldn't expect them to recall events consistently. Now, I wonder, does not being able to recall events consistently apply to other alleged crimes where trauma may be involved? And if not, why not? It's a little too convenient if someone can make an allegation and then later say, you know what, it actually didn't happen like that. There's even further guidance on societal myths on rape and sexual offences. Myth number 7 being women cry rape when they regret having sex or want revenge. Implications: reinforces stereotypes, re-victimizes and stigmatizes the victim, and undermines her support for seeking justice. And then they cite the CPS report as evidence that this is exceedingly rare. Now, of course, it would be ridiculous to assume that all women do this, or even a significant number, but you only have to read the campus rape frenzy to know this is not a rare occurrence. Not only that, young women in the United States are being actively encouraged to see regretful sex as akin to rape or sexual assault by activists on campus. Now, there are special considerations for youths because they may be coerced into making a false complaint or not understand the true nature of consent. There are considerations for the reasons an accuser may withdraw their accusation, such as family pressure or due to embarrassment. Now, most of this guidance seems fairly reasonable, but the point is that it is specifically designed to make sure authorities are very careful about bringing charges of false accusations. But again, this is about bringing charges and proceeding to a prosecution. It doesn't say anything about false allegations that lead to convictions that aren't overturned. Recall that from the campus rape frenzy, a 2012 study estimated that of 227 men convicted of rape for whom DNA evidence was available and usable, 15% were eliminated as the source of that evidence.
That's crazy, you know. 2012 study of 227 men convicted of rape for whom DNA evidence was available unsuitable. 15% were eliminated as their source of evidence. Madness.
It also doesn't say anything about allegations where police don't follow up because resources would be better spent elsewhere. Personally, I'd like to hear from police what goes on inside a UK police department with regard to these matters. How actively do police pursue false allegations or even bother to find out if they are in fact false? I don't think the police can be blamed for not wasting resources following up every unsubstantiated claim. Presumably they have better things to do, such as policing thought crimes on social media. No doubt Jemma Beale is an outlier and rape is a far bigger problem than false allegations of rape. But to minimise the frequency of false allegations sets up a system of a quasi-presumption of guilt, which is exactly what has happened on many American college campuses. So if you have experience in this area of law enforcement, let us know your thoughts about the vigour with which false rape allegations are pursued by police. I'll see you next time.
That is nuts. That is crazy. Jemma Beale. Sick woman. Let's try and see if we can find the article. Jemma Beale. Rape claim, liar loses a conviction appeal. He was raped by 15 men. False lies. Madness. From Holslow, West London, was sentenced to 10 years. August 2017. Claiming she was falsely assaulted by 6 men and raped by 9 over the space of 3 years. Challenging her conviction. You're a jackass. Absolute jackass. Lied about rape. The CCTV evidence showing you lying. You're just after money, you sicko. QC argued should have been given jury directions about dangers. Lied to get money. 10 years significant. Judge told the court that one of the men accused in 2013 was tried twice and jailed for 7 years. Fucking hell. Tried twice and jailed for 17 years. His conviction was squashed by a Court of Appeal in 2015 after his defense team and the Crown prosecution was alerted to serious doubts over allegations. She had been awarded $11,000 by the Criminal Injuries Compensation Authority and had told a former girlfriend she had lied to get the money. The court heard. The Lady Justice Howlett said the idea that the woman could send an innocent man to prison for years solely so she could obtain compensation beggars belief. Because you sick people believe these lies, innit? So obviously it's going to keep happening. That is madness. Yeah, man. Thanks for watching another episode of Injustice. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, man, to grow this channel. Find all these women what lie about rape and domestic violence. See you next time.